And I'm going to think about whether we should walk the talk, or talk the talk, or walk the walk. Now, it is very important to say that we talk about the work, but hardly we walk ourselves. I will be driving in this, I don't know, 30 minutes, only 70 minutes. I think I should at least 20 minutes. So we should have at least the importance of the lifestyle modification in preventing diabetes. I have a small agenda. I will talk about why this topic. My two friends have Sanjeev and Devu have chosen this topic. This is called Dr. Sadiq Kothal. And the last 3 years before his demise, he spoke of one particular thing. He used to say that in about 2 years back, there were about 11 people dying out of 100 because of diabetes. And in 2 years, it was 10 people out of 100 dying because of diabetes. So the number of diabetics, mortality, the number of diabetic, both with complications, keeps on rising very, very fast. And what are we doing for that? I'm going to show the walk, the talk, shows the gap between the preaching and the practice. I'll speak about two American presidents. One had diabetes, one had tuberculosis, other had hypertension. The American president who died of tuberculosis died because ATT was not there at the time. Tuberculosis died of tuberculosis because ATT was not available in 1941. But the other American president died because of hypertension, because Pickering and Platt were discussing whether hypertension treated or not to be treated. So see the difference between the walk and the talk. Now, the concept of pre-diabetes came about 2001 to 2008. But if you see the current state of our nation, you will find pre-diabetes, I call it most important contemporary challenge. I'll show you how. And do we only have to talk the walk, or you have to walk the walk? And in my presentation, I'll show the interplay between gene, epigenetics, and the environment. I know diabetes, as Avi showed just now, is highly genetic. But I also show that by walking the walk, we can have the gene can load the trigger. But by walking, we can not pull the trigger. It will not be pulled by the environment or by our lifestyle. We'll discuss regarding the pre-diabetes and the lifestyle modification, the group of the concept. We'll discuss very briefly about two things, dietary management and physical activity. I'm actively conscious that Silpa is going to speak about the MNT following me, so I'll be very brief. And what I'm going to speak to, I feel, is easy, evidence-based, practical, and it is possibly the way forward. Dear friends, this is the latest regarding the I7 India study, which we are conducting for the last 11 years. And the Northeast study is already complete. It is the paper we published in the Lancet in 2017. The other paper, 19 paper, has been submitted. I'll show the data, but unpublished data. This is the prevalence of diabetes, 11.2 in the urban, about 5.2 rural, overall 7.3. And you see the urban, the males are higher than the females, rural also higher than the females. This shows the weighted prevalence of diabetes in the I7 India study. You see it goes higher and higher, and a better pointer. So it goes higher and higher. And if you look at the pre-diabetes, with the focus of my presentation, you can see the pre-diabetes almost 2 times than the diabetes. And these pre-diabetes are the ones which will convert to diabetic very fast. Therefore, we're sitting on the volcano of a diabetes epidemic, which will explode and we'll all have diabetes, severe diabetes. See the prevalence. I'll make a long story short by showing the unpublished data. Data from the Sikkim, the pre-diabetes 37%. Agartala, Tripura, the pre-diabetes 17%. Kerala, pre-diabetes 21.2%. Pondicherry 22.7%. Meaning thereby, what is our most important job is possibly to prevent diabetes in this pre-diabetics. Dear friends, two things I'll show about the physical activity. See the physical activity which was done by a score called the GPAQ, Global Physical Activity Questionnaire. Very simple. Just see the published data. We have published data, and you see that if you take it is 14,227 subjects. 14,227. You see the quantum of physical activity level. Highly active, you see from 9.6. Before that, I must show you the rural and urban. You find inactive 65% of the urban, about the 26% active, and only 8.99% highly active. So inactivity looms very large. If you go to the physical activity level in the 4 regions that we studied in the beginning, Chandigarh, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu, see the high prevalence of physical inactivity amongst the people. Now we have a concept called leisure time activity. The leisure time activity, statewide distribution of subjects with no recreational activity. That means we are physically very inactive, and that probably contributes to the high prevalence diabetes mellitus. This is the last one from the ASHOK study, published data about the knowledge and awareness of diabetes in urban population. You see, we asked 2 questions. Do you know what diabetes is? Yes. You see, 58%, 43% knew what is diabetes. Second question, do you think in general more and more people are getting affected with diabetes? 90%, 83% people said yes, more diabetes is going to come. We asked a very significant question. Can diabetes be prevented? The answer was yes. That means 66% knew diabetes can be prevented. And possibly they didn't do anything to prevent it. Dear friends, this is a cartoon, which is one of the best cartoons regarding pre-diabetes. How it started in 2001, how in 2009 the Internal Expert Committee accepted diabetes, and it shows the gradual increase in the prevalence of pre-diabetes. Can I have a better pointer? Along with the prevalence of the diabetes, and today we have double the number of pre-diabetics than the diabetics. Dear friends, we cannot choose our parents. Maybe some youngsters in the audience can choose their parents. We cannot choose our in-laws either. So nothing more about the genetics we can do about it. But the genetics can be modified, as I told in the beginning, by the diet, physical activity, by altering sedentary behavior, and by altering our smoking or by giving up the smoking habits. This cartoon says that the complex interplay between the gene and environment can be modified. Now, let us see, do we know that diabetes is preventable or not? This is the proof of the concept. I have given you 6 studies to show that how important it is to have the prevent diabetes effective in our lifestyle. It is not drugs. Somewhere they use metformin. That is also in this presentation. But you will find that in the 6 studies, the proof of concept, DPS Finland, risk reduction 58%. DPP USA, 58% risk reduction. SLIM Netherlands, 58% risk reduction. EDIPS Newcastle UK, 55% risk reduction. You say that in China, 43% risk reduction. IDPP India by my classmate A. Ramchandran, risk reduction 29% with metformin and also with lifestyle. Therefore, we know for certainty that the diabetes can be prevented. So, if you go to the other studies, your friends have brought for you 2 meta-analyses. One done for less than 2 years study, other between 3 and 6 years study. I have no time to go into individual studies, but you see the huge studies show about 27 studies, meta-analyses have shown that type 2 diabetes can be prevented by lifestyle, or if you need drug like metformin, acarbose, it can stop an insulin trial, it can prevent diabetes. And we also know that the LSM and physical activity can prevent diabetes even in children. There is a study called panic study, physical activity and nutrition in children, done in Japan, and you will find that how this study shows that the insulin resistance came down by 30% by nutrition alone. The nutrition alone. It also showed that insulin resistance also further dropped by diet and physical activity, and they were winners. Now, what is the components of this therapeutic lifestyle? The components are healthy, appropriate eating, increase in the physical activity, stress reduction, adequate sleep, avoidance of tobacco products, and limited, if at all one has to take, but I am not in favor of very limited. Now, this is the AACE guideline of pre-diabetes and diabetes management. And you will find here that the nutrition is maintaining optimal weight. If the weight is high, BMI is high, calorie restriction, plant-based diet, high PUFA and PUFA as indicated, avoiding the trans fatty acids, limiting the saturated fatty acids in the diet, and also issue of structured counseling and meal replacement. Physical activity, they say 150 minutes. I'll show what the Indian recommendation. Doctor will be here, please will be here. RS recommendation, the strength training, about the sleep, 7 hours per night of sleep, behavioral support, community engagement, smoking cessation, no tobacco products. Dietary management. I'll be very fast because the time is less. It has to be individualized approach. There's a lot of links between nutritional changes and the medical management, and self-management education is very important for the dietary adherence. Now, if you look for the effectiveness of medical nutrition therapy, you will find the reduction in HbA1c only by dietary management is between I will show here up to 2.5 to 2.6%, average 1 to 2%. Calendar year. The reduction of HbA1c by DPP-4 inhibitor is 0.6 to 1%. So diet is very effective way of bringing down HbA1c. Dear friends, the reversal of diabetes, the prevention of diabetes, quote unquote cure of diabetes can be entirely done by the diet management. Now, what are the goals of MNT? The Silpa is going to speak. I will speak about this aspect. But one has to have the steps of assessing the calories, determining the anthropometrics, calculation of the calories, taking a meal plan, and also a full-fledged follow-up. Now, the purpose of assessing the calories is to identify, optimize the diet, and to help in making the change, and to know patients' eating pattern, and to estimate the calorie consumption and help to plan the diet. So it's very important that we go through this for every individual to customize dietary management. Now I will go to this. There are so many ways of finding out the recall method, finding out the how much. This all of you know how much calories one needs for the overweight to cut down to 20, ideal weight 30 kilocalories. Like that, we know the various strengths of activity and how much of kilocalories we need. We also have type 1 diabetic calorie requirement, and in making a meal plan, one has to take care of macro, micro, and non-nutritive, if you're using sweeteners, water, etc., etc. Now, the Indian diet, we showed you about the type of diet we eat in India, the fat, protein, and carbohydrate contents. But what I'll speak about is the fact that there are various classification. I know details of it. This was definitely will be spoken by Silpa again. The key players in the management of diabetes are the dietary fibers, the oligosaccharides, and the resistant starch. And it shows how the various elements of the diet have their sugar index. And this is GI pyramid, which foods can be taken at random, at libertum, which has to be moderately restricted, which has to be fully restricted, and we have also the diets. We have two terms which will be highlighted. One is the glycemic index, and and the glycemic load. One has to be conscious about the glycemic index, but the glycemic load is important. It is very important what we eat and how much we eat. I'll tell a jokester. It's about a professor of diabetes who joined us way back in 1967. He was from the army and he did not listen anything. He will tell the patient what diet are you taking. Patient will say something which will not listen. He will say, make it half, make it half, make it half. And it worked. But one day one patient sensed that he was not listening anything. He said, I think we want Italy. Make it half, make it half. But all that it means is the fact that the portion size matters. And I will not go into details of it, but the portion size is very important, and one should know that it is very important to look for the glycemic load, and the low glycemic index diet can take care of hypoglycemia, take care of hyperinsulinemia, reduce free fatty acids, and produce the desired benefits. And now I want to address this particular slide to say that Indians have higher glycemic response. For the same amount of food, usually the glycemic response in the Asian patients and the glycemic response in the UK Caucasians. So Indians have a higher glycemic response, for which we may have to be careful. Now, I will not go details of it because time is less, but it is very important to know that the portion size in our country is rapidly increasing. One has to be careful about the portion size, and I will not go details of it. Show the various portion size, and the looks can be deceptive, taken in the hand, and I'll show a cartoon which shows that the household measures are more important, which can determine the portion size. To make a long story short, if you have smaller size of the plates on which you take the food, it is much more beneficial. Now, can you say which of the plates contains maximum food? It's not the last one. There is exactly the same amount of food on each plate. But the plate size matters, and it gives you an illusion of having it adequately. Now, I will not details of it, and a handy reminder that a healthy plate model of what food to take. And it suffices to mention that the plate, half of the plate is filled with vegetables, and if you have proteins, it's only one quarter, and the grains and starches are the other quarter. And about the fat, what fat to take, so and what fat not to take will be highlighted in subsequent talk. So each smaller portion, measure your servings, use smaller plates, smaller bowls, and smaller glasses. Now, I have no time to go, but very important to mention that the best mix of carbohydrate, protein, and fat are adjusted to meet the metabolic goals and individual preferences for the food. And bedtime snacks should be always contain protein because they contribute to blood glucose more slowly than the carbohydrates. And protein recommendation, this is a recommendation from our society, which chaired by the ASHOK Mishra. I'll just make 3 recommendations. For the protein intake should be 1 gram per kg per day and should provide 10 to 15% of the total calories. If you take the fats contribute to flavor and texture. Saturated fats increase in blood cholesterol level. At solid at room temperature, anything that is solid at room temperature bad, starting from vanaspati. Unsaturated fats lower blood cholesterol, are liquid at room temperature. PUFA, monounnsaturated fatty acids. PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids, contains omega 3 and omega 6. Trans fatty acids, which are refined in McDonald's, KFC, are processed unsaturated fats. Vegetable oils are processed to make them solid, however they cause increase in the LDL. Then about alcohol and the artificial sweeteners, and there is also a recommendation from our society regarding the what food one should take when going out, because nowadays our spouses are much happier when you don't have to cook. We go out for taking food outside than buying them alternates. There are some foods which are called empty calories, and the junk food calories account for the empty calories in the food, and it can include any food which gives you too many calories from fats and sugars, and one has to be careful of the empty calories. The last part of my talk is exercise. This is very important. I like this cartoon which says we were like this, became like this, became like Now we are called obesitics. And obesity, as we pointed out, is the greatest cause of the mankind today. Now, evolution of sitting time. I just give a quote before I end. I met recently Cherian Varghese, who is our Indian resident commissioner at the WHO for the NCD division. He said, sitting continuously for 4 hours is equivalent to 5 cigarettes smoking, and it's true. I'll show you that how the sitting time has increased for all of us. We are sitting in the room for all day, and you see, this is what is talking the walk. The gentleman is watching the TV, he is not very thin, and his dog is on the treadmill. He has a treadmill, but dog is on the treadmill. You look at the chubby children, and there is McDonald's, see the type of food they are talking. Gentleman is sleeping in daytime, and this is on the diabetes conference. They are going to fitness center, but to go to fitness center, nobody takes this step. Everybody is on the escalator. So there are so many examples of saying that we just talk to walk, don't walk to walk. Now see, evolution sitting time is very important. I'll just give that concept. You see, there is less of outdoor play today, more of indoor play, more of sitting. Field work is minimal, desk job is high desk job. And you see, we are sitting all day long, sitting and eating, and this sitting has produced lot of illnesses, and proportion of diabetes caused by physical inactivity, that's called PF, population attributable fraction, is very high. Therefore, the physical inactivity has to be done away with, sitting time has done away with, and the population attributable fraction ranges in various countries, and India is also quite high. Now, fat versus fit, this concept has to be developed. There's nothing wrong to be chubby, but one has to be absolutely fit. And there are 2 studies which have shown that the 9 prospective studies in the 1,17,000 patients and 100 prospective study in 13,000 patients, it has shown that the relative contribution to diabetes mellitus of the fat and relative benefit of the physical activity and cutting down obesity on type 2 diabetes, which are well-known facts, and I will details of it. The sedentary lifestyle, there is a comparison between the bus drivers and the bus conductors. You know, conductors stand all the time. You see conductors, see the stimulus factor in conductors much less, drivers much higher. Daily sitting time, low, mid and high, how this organized stimulus factor. And adverse physical inactivity is well known. I just like to drive home the role of inflammation, which I published the book recently. Now, how the physical activity can produce in pro-inflammation, dyslipidemia, hypertension, diabetes mellitus, obesity, and various other things. And the benefit of exercise is well documented. When you see the benefits of 10% weight loss, you see the diabetes-related deaths come down by 30 to 40%. Please allow me 1 minute more, sir. I must tell you, we did study in Mohan Center who are the diabetics who live longest. Sir, we found the diabetics who walk every day at least 4 to 7 kilometers are the ones who live longest. I can declare from the rooftop that the diabetics who, sir, I will be leaving all the slides with Debuda. You can collect all the slides from Debuda. So you don't have to take. So this is regarding the 10% weight loss can give rise to death reduction by 40% and etc. You can see. So diabetics must work and we must do that. Now, how does exercise help? I won't carry much basic science, but suffice to mention that GLUT1 and GLUT4 are expressed in skeletal muscle. Exercise and insulin, most potent physiological stimuli for taking it inside the muscle. So exercise is very important. And the next slide shows that 2 distinct pathways to regulate glucose uptake by the muscle, and exercise is most important outcome. So exercise is an invaluable benefit. Now, I should finish now. Now, physical activity has effect on mortality, and exercise is also recommended type of diabetes. The goals are here. Now, therefore, one of the prescriptions of ours should be a prescription to do exercise. I'll put the last slide of my presentation. The various types of exercise, you can take this presentation and go through it. It's called safe strengthening exercises, A for aerobic exercises, A for flexibility exercises, E for endurance exercises. And I have given examples of all the exercises, type of exercises in the study. I'll go to the last slide. There's the concept called FIET, the frequency of exercise, intensity of exercise, time of exercise, and type of exercise. And I request that FIET recommendations may be followed to keep the diabetes at bay. And breathing exercise also equally important. I'm going to the last slide and I'll finish there. They have effect on the diabetic complications also. I'll just go to the hypoglycemia is a myth. It doesn't occur if you're taking care of it. And Cochrane Laboratory has also recently reviewed workplace intervention for reducing sitting at work, and it has produced great benefits. I'll do it at the end. And various ways of creating supportive workplace, the road for police. And I will not go to the COVID morning we had at 7:30 the yoga session here. And to summarize, physical activities should be encouraged in all people with diabetes. People need to be educated about prevention and treatment of hypoglycemia. People should be taught to plan for the physical activity. Dear friends, I will end it with a quote. The take-home message from this talk is that possibly that we have to not talk about the walk, but walk the walk. No words, acts. And today, the choice is imperative. Prevent diabetes. It is in our hands. If we do not prevent diabetes, we have to perish. I did not speak that in Hari's talk, but we have a 90/10 paradox. The paradox is that the 90% of the budget for diabetic treatment is spent for 10% people who are in the other part of the globe. Only 10% of the total cost is spent for 90% of diabetics who are in our part of the globe. Therefore, we have to give more importance to walk the walk. Let us walk the talk, don't talk the walk. Before I end, can I request you, we have got 3 types of breaks. Bio breaks, go to bathroom. We have got tea breaks, which is tea breaks. But we have a concept called a mobility break. So can we just stand up for 2 minutes? After every talk or after every 2 hours, we should stand up and do some physical activity. Shilpa, get up. So we will do for 1 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Thank you very much. And everything that I could not speak is in my presentation, which Debuda is here. Debuda will hand it over to whoever wants it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. A.K. Das. Sorry you had to rush through your